Hello, and welcome to Healthy Habits, where things are seldom perfect, but I am still making progress. Over the past 8 months, I have lost 57 pounds and many inches. I ditched some bad habits and replaced them with new, healthier ones. I hope you can find something useful in the things that I share here as I continue moving forward. Today, I'm still in the Pantry Challenge. I am making chicken soup. This is a healthy meal that you can make many servings of, and also you could freeze this if you, so that's what I'm gonna do, because I made chicken soup last week, so I'm gonna make another pot of it, and I'm gonna have a couple servings this week and put a couple in the freezer for another time so I don't get tired of chicken soup, because I really like it. So it's a very simple recipe. It does take a little bit of time, but if you have your veggies chopped up ahead of time, then you have done a lot of the work already. First, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or your oil of choice, and you're going to start on high. Get that oil to just about smoking, and then you're going to add, well, I'm going to add garlic. So this recipe that I'm going to put in on the link it calls for garlic powder and some other spices. So what I'm going to make is the base, and then I add the spices that I like. So right now this has rosemary, it smells so good. It has some more garlic powder in it. It has salt and pepper. That's the flavorings I'm going with for this time, because I have homemade broth and it already has some flavoring in it. Plus I'm going to put my onions in there. So what I'm going to do for right now is get my garlic, because I have chopped garlic in there. I am in the mindset of, you can skip this step if you're not a garlic fan and just use the garlic powder. But I am a garlic fan, so my mindset is there's never too much garlic, okay? Because I love it. So this garlic has come fresh from the garden, and I have it chopped up. Now, it's a little early for garlic, so they weren't really big. One of them hadn't even made cloves yet, so this is probably about, if you were going to do cloves, it's probably like 6 to 8 cloves chopped up in here. So I'm just going to get that in my oil and give that a little nice roasted garlic flavor before I add my other veggies. All right, so about a minute on that. Then you're going to add the rest of your veggies, which is 1.5 cups each of onion, celery, and carrots. So this is your base. Carrots are getting away. After that, you can play around with whatever flavorings you like. So if you don't like rosemary, the recipe actually calls for basil. But I had fresh rosemary in the garden, so why not, right? Rosemary is great on chicken. So I'm going to turn this down now so that it don't burn the pan, the pot, I should say. And we're just going to let this simmer, keep stirring it. Sauté, not simmer, sorry. Nothing in there is too simmer. So sauteing for about 2 minutes, maybe 3. You want to get those flavors in there, and then you're going to sprinkle, of course you're going to sprinkle on your seasonings that you like. And after you've got, with the carrots, the onions, and the celery are the base. So that's the main ingredients. What you add, spice-wise, completely up to you. So I added that garlic. that fresh garlic, I added salt and pepper, I added rosemary, that just for my taste, right? And also I like to try different spices in it every time I make it, just to see which ones I like the best or which ones go together, and experimenting. So when your celery starting to get translucent, meaning it's not so green anymore, your carrots are still going to be hard, and you're not going to worry about that because they're going to soften up when you get your other ingredients in there. Trying to get a little shot there of what it looks like in the pot. You don't want to go longer than the 3 minutes, otherwise you're going to start burning up your veggies. So if they're still not quite done, that's okay. They're going to cook up in your soup because this is going to boil for like 30 minutes. Okay, so now you're going to add your chicken stock, your broth. This is homemade. I canned it up a while ago, so I'm using that up to make soup. That's going to need to come back to boil, obviously. So now I'm going to put my chicken in. Now, you can use chicken breasts and then pull them out when it's done and shred them to make shredded chicken. But I like using these chunks because then I don't have to do that step. I can just put these chicken chunks in here and it's ready to go. So it's like a chunky chicken soup, right? Now, you could add potatoes and make it a potato and chicken soup. If you add your potatoes, you can add potatoes and milk and make it a creamier chicken soup. But if you add those things, you will not be able to freeze it. Potatoes do not freeze well at all. I tried it. You can leave it in the freezer for maybe a week, maybe 2. After the 3rd week, I was like, the potatoes do not hold up well in the soup. And potatoes aren't something that you need to freeze. They're a root vegetable and they do well on their own outside of the refrigerator, the freezer. They don't like those kind of things. So it makes sense that they would not go well in your soup. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. They get kind of grainy and it just kind of tastes weird. And it's nothing that would harm you. It's just not palatable, right? It's a little bit weird tasting. So after the second week, I was not liking it. So it will be okay if you did it. It just doesn't taste as good. So I leave the potatoes out when I know I'm going to freeze some of it. So that way I know I'm going to have good soup. Okay, we have an excellent boil. You can see, even if I stir it, still boiling. It's a rolling boil. And that is what you want. Now, I'm just gonna turn it down to medium-low, set my timer for 30 minutes. I will come and stir it every once in a while. Check for taste to see if I need to add any salt and pepper or other spices that I like. And after the 30 minutes, and I'm gonna let it cool. On the rack back there, I have containers to put it in. The two I'm gonna use for the freezer are my Tupperware freezer containers, and then the ones that I'm going to eat up this week are going to go in these bowls with some beeswax wrap on top. Okay, while the chicken soup is cooking, I have started my sloppy joe. In here I have turkey, 1 pound of ground turkey, and I am going to add some onion, just 1 small onion chopped up, and let that work its magic in there. Let that onion and turkey cook up in there. Just gonna put the lid on it and let it brown up. Give this chicken a little stir. Okay, so my turkey is about done because there's hardly any liquid in the bottom there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients, which is going to be ketchup. I would prefer this to be homemade, but I don't have any, so store-bought. There it is. That is a 1/2 cup. Mix that in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to a medium low. Once we have all the ingredients in here, this is just going to simmer for a 1/2 an hour. So you're going to need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. You can use coconut sugar or other sugars if you prefer. I like the taste of brown sugar in my sloppy joe, so that's why I use it. And then 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Also, you could use other vinegars. This is just my preferred. Okay. Get that all mixed up in there. And then I'm just going to salt and pepper to taste. Which for me is just going to be a little sprinkle of each. Give it a good stir. Put the lid on it. Simmering for 30 minutes. All right, our soup is done. Looks and smells delicious. So I've got my 2 Tupperware containers for freezing and 2 bowls for eating. So I'm just gonna ladle these in to the containers. About 2 ladlefuls fills my containers. Maybe get a little bit more in there. Try to get the chicken evenly distributed. You don't want to have chicken soup without any chicken in it. You can always go back and scoop in more vegetables or broth afterwards. Now, just like anything else you're freezing, you want to make sure that you leave a little lip at the top so that it can expand, especially since this has a lot of liquid to it. It will expand for sure. Okay. And there I have 2 meals for this week and 2 for another week. So what I have here is some lettuce, a romaine lettuce, organic, some peas and carrots and broccoli from the garden, and then some chicken that I baked earlier, and I'm using that up as well. That way, it's going to make me a nice salad with a little protein and plenty of veggies. So about 2 tablespoons in here, so that is a serving. And about time to make some more of this, which is fantastic. I'll use up some more things like lemons that'll go bad if I don't think I'm used up lemon juice that I've already juiced the lemons. And there you have it. Peas, carrots, broccoli, romaine lettuce, and a little bit of dressing, and some chicken to spice it up. Fantastic. So now I'm just enjoying one of those fabulous homemade meals with my garden veggies. And remember, folks, healthy habits, happy life.